Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Tufts Gaming Hub with the first game of the Overwatch, the first game of the season. Today we bring you Tufts Blue versus UW Stout Blue Devils. I don't know how we are gonna shorten it. UW, that's how we're gonna call it from now on because it's a very long name. University of Wisconsin Stout. And today I'm joined by a very special person. If you may introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Rose. I'm going to be casting this game today as we load into Antarctic Peninsula. The roster has changed a little bit from last year. We have a new DPS in the lineup, Jymthegreat. And it'll be exciting to see how everybody does.
You know, when you went ahead and introduced yourself, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm John Cheeto. I'm the producer. Today I'm gonna try doing a bit of both, as we are in the game and it seems that they're already running into ping issues, so we might need to restart the lobby. Yep, that's what's gonna happen.
Okay, so we are unloading from Antarctic Peninsula, and
And
now
we
we
are
are coming
reloading.
back into Antarctic Peninsula. Hopefully this time on the correct server.
Yep. But it's exciting to have everybody back for a new season. As Rose was saying a few moments ago, we have a new DPS player, Jymthegreat, after Six-Man decided to, switch gears a bit, which was the previous DPS players. Were very technically talented, and we're very excited to see what the team can do now with Jymthegreat. The main core of the team stays the same. We still have Asu, Burphouse, Shamrock, and Corona. But we'll see how... Okay, it seems I can hear myself fine. I have my phone on. Let's see how the team
We may have
recreates
lost
itself when,
John for a moment.
reintroduces
Oh,
himself.
we're back. Oh, that might have been my issue, actually.
Let's see.
Yeah, let's see what everybody is going to be loading out onto the map with.
Ready for battle.
We do see, well, we'll ignore the hovers for now because they might be lying to us, as they like to do.
Yeah. Well, I did hear
Um,
some. What's it called? Some whispers about what can possibly happen. And right now, it seems that's gonna be exactly
Yeah,
the case.
these seem like pretty reasonable comps. With the mirrored Ram Juno Brig, it's the DPS line that are different for either team. Where for UW we see a McCree and Sombra, whereas we have May Venture for Tufts. So we'll be seeing a very brawl-heavy short-range comp for Tufts so far. And we'll see if they can really get anything done with it. And we do see an early kill onto both Brigs from the Rhine, but Tufts does seem to be coming out on top slightly, taking out the other members of UW, just the Sombra being left alive, who will not be able to contest the point at all. So Tufts is going to take control of that very first flip.
Yeah. So I was gonna say Shamrock on Brig. I heard that Shamrock has never played on Brig, so I thought I should leave it out there. It's the first time. It's Shamrock's least played support, so I was really curious to see how that went. And here we are against this team by itself.
It does seem to be working, despite the early death, with another early pick onto both the supports from UW. So this should just be a very clean fight win for Tufts. I don't think anybody should go down, and it doesn't look like anyone is. It's going to be a 5-for-0 team kill on Tufts' side. We did see the swap from UW from the Sombra onto the Venture, and so far that has not seemed to make a difference. And I think one of the biggest things that we can see right now is the difference in Brig ult charge, where UW has only 20%, whereas Tufts is sitting on 70%, getting close towards that rally. So Tufts is making really good progress, but Volcorona does get picked off early, so without the Juno, we'll see if UW can actually end up taking a win. But it doesn't look like that's the case, actually, as Tufts still seems to be doing completely fine in the fight. Juno gets taken out with just the Ram left, and the Ram is going to end up getting taken out in the end, I do believe, yep, by the Venture. And although it's a bit more scrappy of a fight than some of the other ones that we've seen so far, we do end up still coming out with Tufts on top.
Honestly, I remember Burkhouse complaining a lot of having to play Mercy last semester, so I'm pretty sure he's pretty happy that he doesn't have to do so this time around in this new season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think Tufts should be able to close this one out pretty cleanly. They're coming up onto all 5 ultimates. And I mean, yep, I said obviously pop the Annihilation right there. And the Deadeye does absolutely nothing. Basically all of the ultimates are getting popped right now as it hits overtime. Yep, all 5 ultimates popped, and it doesn't seem like UW is going to be able to do absolutely anything about that, as Tufts takes a very dominating 100-0 win on the first map of Antarctic Peninsula.
Yeah, you know, I remember Nighthawk yesterday when they were casting Valorant games saying, we're going to have one of those Overwatch moments where every single person on a team presses ult. Versus that ultimate button, and that's exactly what we had in this final fight to close it out.
We had 9 players pressing Q on their keyboard, and Tufts ended up pressing that Q button just a little bit better.
Exactly. It seems Tufts has that chemistry and aggression going on for them, which really gives them an advantage early on, and it's allowing them to get those early kills. Sometimes they've been found out by Wordy, who's now switching to Sojourn. But as of right now, I mean, this is right at the start, but that's starting really well.
Yeah, the UW is going to swap up the DPS line to mirror Tufts, although the support line is actually also going to swap off the Juno and onto the Ana. Ana does have the opportunity to get those very easy sleep darts onto the Ram, so we'll see if that ends up happening, and if that Ana can get any value in these early skirmishes. So far it's just a bit of trading. Health bars are dropping a little bit low, but no one is at any real threat of dying. Although as I say that, the mantra does end up going down, and that should be just the early fight win for Tufts. Yeah, I don't think UW can do absolutely anything about that. The wall comes out, but it's not even close to enough.
What's Jymthegreat doing?
Oh wow, that's a little bit toxic actually. As we see the emote coming out.
Yeah, no, the T-back and the emo. Both of them at the same time.
We see, although he did come out victorious in the main mirror. That is a very early sign of toxicity from our new DPS players. As they say that. Yeah. Once again, early kills coming out from Tufts, playing very, very aggressively. Once again, nobody dying actually, so they're actually playing super stellar. And although despite the aggression, also very safe.
So now switching to the Sunfera is
yeah, I mean, in theory, it should be very good into Tufts' very short-range comp, but also on this map, the Pharah doesn't have that much room to play with, so I don't think that it'll be super fantastic. I don't imagine it really being the key to winning this one. The Blizzard is thrown out as Jymthegreat does get frozen. A couple of deaths go through as a couple of ultis are also popped on either side. Rally popped on the side of UW, but the Brig ends up going down almost immediately. And it does not seem like UW is going to actually be able to make any real progress with this push. The Annihilation gets popped, but Tufts just pops the speed ring and walks away, and that Annihilation fades away almost immediately. Oh, and Tufts is now going back on the offensive. Despite the fact that 2 members are anti, Tufts is able to just push straight forward with both the Annihilation and the Tectonic Shock, and they're able to pick up the entire UW team, basically, and it's another team kill. So far, Tufts has not really shown any signs of weakness. I think having that synergy from being together with previous year definitely helps. And it does not seem like UW is going to be able to get the touch onto the point as the Pharah tries desperately to fly over, but it is not going to happen as Tufts takes Antarctic Peninsula in a very dominating 2-0 fashion.
Yeah, absolutely. Tufts was extremely dominant this first game. It seems nothing has changed ever since they had this roster change. You know, I'm not surprised. The crowd is better from early on. We get to see two playing together, and we can see that right here. But at the same time, I want to mention there's some great navels going from Jymthegreat, which completely isolated some of the players of UW, and just allows to get that early advantage and late advantage that sometimes when they're gone, another wall, another something that always brought Tufts back into the fight. And with that, they were able to always capitalize, even though they were anti. They lost one early, which wasn't many times, but it was those small, small changes, or not small changes, but small details brought by Jymthegreat, and that great communication between the players that allowed them to have this dominance early on into the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the target focus from Tufts has been really good. They're just constantly being able to get these early kills, and that's giving them a really big advantage in these fights, especially targeting the support line. So UW doesn't often have that healing that they're able to bring out in a lot of these later fights, right? And they're fighting 3v5, 2v5, right? And then by that point, the fight is already over, right? So just being able to focus fire onto one target, to isolate a target, and to make sure that kill gets secured. Whereas I think UW has been spreading out their fire quite a lot, and it's just been a lot of low health bars, but no real kills for most of these fights.
If I'm going to take a second, I feel like the game's pretty loud, at least on my ears. I don't know how loud it is on the stream, so I'm going to take a second to just lower this a bit. Second map is going to be King's Row, by the way. The stream's not open yet, but it's going to be King's Row.
Yeah. We'll see if there are going to be any comp changes. I do imagine there will be. King's Row definitely has a very different map structure than Antarctic Peninsula with its very small spaces.
So I'm going to take a bit longer. Just give me a second. I am...
Yep, no worries. Take your time.
Currently... It's really loud, at least on my ears. I need to lower it. At least it should do it for now. Okay, let's see what both teams have.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a slightly different change of pace. We do see the Pharah Ashe DPS line coming out on the side of Tufts for their defense, and we also do have the Juno Diva combination, where Juno can put down a speed ring and Diva's boosters will go extraordinarily fast. Although we do also see this Widowmaker tech to see if we can get any early picks from the side of UW, and although maybe it's actually going to stay as this Widowmaker ends up running out and taking the high ground. So maybe this is just going to be the Widowmaker on attack.
Already trying to get an Ashe right there.
Yeah, so far not able to get too much value, but we'll see if they can find any of these picks. And right away they do get one pick on two picks back to back. The Widowmaker is already having insane value, and this might just be the first point captured for UW right away, just based off of those two picks.
We should add that this is first map pick, it's Looser's map pick, so it was UW the ones who decided to play King's Row.
Yeah, and we actually do also, it is just the cap right off the bat from those two picks, and we do see the swap as well from the Ashe onto the Widowmaker mirror. We'll see who ends up coming out on top in the Widow duel. Azu crouching behind the wall is going to end up getting spotted out, but so far no kills going over. A couple of low health bars, but so far nothing too much happening. Although, yeah, the pummel is just going straight into Shamrock, and just going to being able to pick the kill right away. Yeah, I mean, just a bit more trading, and that's the Pharah, right, as well, so that should just be able to be a pick, although the Widowmaker and the Juno get traded out, so this is now an even fight, 3v3 on both sides. Yeah, this is an enormous Maywall, but the block does such a good job of reducing so much of that damage. And Burbhouse is now having their own highlight reel, grabbing 2 kills back to back on the May and the Baptiste. And Tufts is really starting to warm up a little bit on this map, as they take a pretty solid stand in advantage.
Such naivety.
Okay, Burbhouse actually just cooking right here. This is wild.
Yeah, I mean, one-shotting the May, and then as she comes right out, one-shotting her right back again. So definitely having a better showing on the push part of this map. Infrasite's popped. Doesn't look like there's going to be too much happening. Just a bit of pressure going out. No picks so far. Just damage being traded back and forth as people build up Volt Charge. The Amplification Matrix does come out, and it's 2 kills onto the Brigitte and the Widowmaker, but the combination of this orbital ray and is actually doing such an insane job of pushing back UW, and they aren't actually going to be able to get any push at all on that on those kills to capitalize.
Yeah, it seems that UW managed to get the early advantage here, but also come with a great annihilation here to get two of your own, and just being able to put Tufts on a 3v3 equal matchup that allows them to just keep the card from not being pushed.
Yeah, but Burphouse just really being able to find these picks back to back, giving Tufts a massive advantage. As the barrage does come through, picks up a kill. Kills being traded back on either side. It's a bit hard to tell what's happening, but it's as the Ramatra goes down, that does look like it's going to be the fight going over to the side of Tufts pretty convincingly. Yeah, Tufts just cleaning up some of these stragglers, really doing a good job of staggering UW, as they've drained quite a bit of time off that time bank, and UW is still only halfway through pushing this payload, and they're at this very awkward corner that's really difficult to push a lot of the times.
Yeah, there's several points here in King's Row where once the defense reaches that point of defense, they're able to just hold tight and close all those angles that force the attackers to find different ways of passing through, even though this is obvious. I mean, it always happens, no matter how much experience you have in the game.
Yeah, just more poke being traded back and forth. We do see that Tufts is coming off onto 3 ultimates, which are all very big. Although, as I say that, Volcarona does get picked off by the Widowmaker. So that is going to be Tufts having to take a bit of a step back. But then again, Burphouse wins the Widowmaker 1v1, also picking up a follow-up kill onto the Mei, and Tufts just cleans up the fight after that very, very convincingly. They do invest the rally, but that's definitely a price they're willing to pay. And we actually see UW swapping almost completely. 3 members off, actually 4 members swapping, everybody but the Juno, now on this Winston, Genji, Sombra, almost dive comp. We'll see if they can have any more success with that, as we see Odin slam his face into a wall, not quite able to make it into the window. Kills being traded over the Brigitte for the Sombra, but it does seem like with that Annihilation pop, Tufts is going to be able to hold this like very, very convincingly. And there's not a ton that UW can do on the backside. The Genji is doing actually phenomenally, picking up 2 kills on the backside, but I don't think they'll be able to get any push off of this, as everyone basically just has to regroup, which is a bit awkward for UW, especially as since they swap, they really don't have any of this ult charge, whereas Tufts is coming up onto 2 ultis with a barrage already ready and that orbital ring getting very close. So I do think Tufts has the very, very decisive advantage here. And this is probably going to be the map-ending fight, as we see the Sombra getting taken out by Volcarona, actually. And that should just be the pick that Tufts needs to really start tearing this fight apart. Barrage gets 2, and that will just be the overtime draining away. I don't think UW will be able to do anything about this. The orbital ray is popped, but I think that should just be the end of this map.
The end of the first round of this map.
Yes, the end of the first round of this map. Yes, yes.
But
the end of the UW's push.
Exactly.
It's not an awful push, but definitely they would have wanted more from that. They had a very good start to the map, but once they got to that choke point, I think Tufts was really able to slow it down a lot. And we'll see if Tufts can really pick up that same steam, especially in that first point where UW was sitting on like a 5-minute time bank, because they just managed to take that first point so fast with those 2 Widowmaker picks.
Yeah, okay, so I'm being told that it's really hard to hear me. I know, for some reason I do have a really low microphone, so you might be hearing me well, but I don't have it well set up on my computer so they can hear me. Give me a sec. While they set up, I'll try doing this. 300, you know? 100%. Alright, let's see now. It should be pretty loud. If it's too loud, do let me know.
Okay, we are seeing a similar look for UW as we saw from Tufts on the last map, bringing out the Ashe and in the Juno, but also they're playing with Sojourn, Baptiste, and Ramatra, which is definitely a slightly different look. We'll see if the Ashe can get anything done. We do see it on this initial capture point a lot, but we'll see if if they're really able to make a big difference with the changes that they've made. Whereas I think Tufts are kind of loading out on the same comp that we saw them on towards the end of last map. And we do see the Widowmaker immediately starting off with a pick onto the Ashe. And this might just be the exact same thing as we saw during Tufts' attack, where they're able to just take picks, and this might just be the capture of the point right away, right off the bat. Yeah, and we also do see a couple of swaps from the side of UW. So far, it kind of seems like they haven't really figured out what they want to do with these team comps. And I think that's been really bad for them because they lose so much ult charge just making these constant swaps. For a moment they were on the Pharah, but now on the Symmetra, and we'll see if that's going to be the difference maker that they need to really come back in this map.
So we got the Widow duel happening right here.
Yeah, the Widow duel once again. We'll see if who's going to come out on top. So far it has been Burbhouse, but we'll see if Wordy is able to do anything different with this Widow duel this time. Yeah, so far not much happening in terms of kills, just poke being traded back and forth. Widowmaker shots landing, as Burbhouse does end up winning in that Widowmaker duel once again. Now that Logan harassing that Baptiste. And Tufts should just be able to take pretty solid control of this cart. And this might just be close to the end of the map already, as they're pushing forward towards that golden box on the ground.
Yeah, they just... I do think they let Tufts just push right from the start instead of trying to just force choke.
Yeah, I don't know if UW is going to be able to touch. They will not, and that's just going to be the end of the map. Once again, another very dominant win from Tufts.
Yeah, another dominant win. It seems that not forcing to just try force choke to be the first choke right when you're passing the kind of bridge, if you want to put it in a way. They were just let Tufts put themselves in one fight territory, and with that one single fight where Tufts just executed everything perfectly, they closed it out and put 2-0 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, phenomenally played from Tufts. After that first fight during UW's attack, they really didn't let up, and they kind of took over every fight afterwards. And I mean, UW really just couldn't replicate that success that they had on that first capture point. It does appear that the next map is going to be New Junk City, and we'll see if UW has a better time on these shorter flashpoint maps, or is at least able to claw back some of that momentum.
Yeah. Let's see. We're currently waiting on UW as Tufts is ready, but we're just waiting on the other team. In the meantime, can I get a check if everything is working fine? If I can be heard right, if the audio volume has decreased enough that you can hear the casters perfectly now, which I did that at the start of King's Row, but it should be fine now. And I decreased it even more. And if stream quality is good as well. But it seems we're jumping in to map 3.
Yes, we should be loading into New Junk City right about now. And we'll see if we see this. We very briefly got a glimpse of the Venture Genji. And I think maybe we will end up actually seeing that.
I guess somebody hasn't read the rules. I guess somebody hasn't read the rules.
We have been lying to you this entire time. It is not going to be New Junk City or Flashpoint. It is going to be Push happening next.
Somebody hasn't been reading the rules. Yes, I am calling you out, Azu. Nah, I'm kidding. Something's happening here on chat, but yeah, it seems Azu wasn't aware that it is loser's map pick. It should be like that. It's always been like that. I'm pretty sure it has not changed. It is true that we are no longer in Naze.
Struggling a bit.
Yeah.
We are not sure what the next map is going to be. It may actually end up just being New Junk City once again.
No way.
So
So
it
we
is
were not
actually New
lying.
Junk City. We were not lying to you. We were lied to. And although I think that Doomfist hover is probably not going to happen from Volcarona, I do believe that the Venture Genji Junker Queen might be a thing that we see on this map. Although I'm not entirely sure what the plan is going to be from either team.
Okay, let's switch the scene. So we're back in New Junk City.
Awesome. We are just barely loading into this map. Yeah, I think it'll be important to see if UW can claw back some of this momentum, because so far they have been really on the back foot the entire time. And it is actually exactly what I had thought it would be. It is Junker Queen on both teams with Venture. On UW they have a Tracer, but on Tufts' side they do have a Genji. And it is going to be Kiriko Juno on both teams. So it's going to be this very fast-paced, aggressive, raw, short-range comp that really excels on these kinds of flashpoint maps. And we'll see what these teams are going to be able to do with them.
I see Shamrock making an appearance on the chat. Stop with chatting and play. I'm kidding.
Okay, right off the bat, the Venture is going to go down, and actually so is the Juno. And Tufts is actually really taking a big beating here, as it's just Azu left, I do believe, and Azu does end up going down towards the very end, and it's just the Tracer that ends up falling for UW. So this is going to be UW taking the first fight in what seems like a while. Yeah, this Venture and this Junker Queen are starting to brawl a bit, but no kills traded over just yet. All of these characters have such good defensive tools that they're able to brawl so heavily and without actually ending up dying. But it is going to be the UW Venture that ends up being the first to fall in the second fight, and it does look like the rest of the team is going to follow with no kills coming over. Another clean 5-0 team kill going over to Tufts.
Yeah, so now switching the point in favor of Tufts. Up to 20% already, so.
Yeah, I mean, these flashpoint maps tick really, really quickly, so it might actually only be just 2 or 3 more fights before the point is captured. And actually, right off the bat, the Kiriko just gets one shot, and that should just be Tufts winning this fight immediately. And that's with the Kitsune Rush popped by UW, which is a massive investment that they're going to get absolutely nothing out of. Tufts is getting very close to having all 5 ultimates online, and this is probably going to be the final fight of the flashpoint. So we'll see if they end up saving any of these ultimates, but I mean, I don't really foresee them losing this next fight unless somebody gets bursted down so fast they aren't able to do anything about it. Yeah, Kitsune Rush popped. Health bars are low, but I mean, Tufts should just be able to close this one out relatively easily. Yeah, it's almost every ultimate being invested on either side, but I mean, Tufts has the massive advantage here, and they even managed to save 2 of their ultimates for the next point.
Q spam.
Yeah, I mean, that is what it is. 3 ultimates popped from the side of Tufts and 2 from the side of UW. And Tufts still has 2 more when approaching this next flashpoint. And to be fair, so does UW. They do have the Venture and the Juno, but I think the Rampage is going to be really, really pivotal here to see if Tufts can really mitigate any of that, especially orbital ray healing.
One of the things I think I should add, because I forgot to mention it, because we don't know much of Jymthegreat and their hero pool. Well, I'm pretty sure, from what I've heard, that Genji is one of their signature heroes.
I mean, and they're really showing it, right? Tufts managed to get a pick right off the bat. Once again, onto Cooper Queen, who I think has been a bit of a weak point for the side of UW, in that we kind of see them getting picked off a lot in these early fights. I think it's usually the Venture who ends up going down on the side of UW that gives Tufts this momentum advantage. And I think that's going to be really a big sticking point for them if they want to come back in this series.
Watch them come back. 5k incoming. We love Caster's Curse, by the way. We're here for it.
Low health bars once again, and that's the Rampage, and it just hits one. Although it does get Suzu, you are correct. But it seems to be just enough because the Suzu doesn't end up hitting the Junker Queen, and that's kind of all they needed. They managed to get a team kill with just the Venture falling, and that's going to be Tufts probably taking control of the second point. I don't imagine that if they really just put up this defense very far forward, they're going to be able to stop UW from being able to touch the point at all. And it doesn't seem like they're even going to try. It looks like the flashpoint just ends up going over, and this is series point. I do believe, for Tufts. Tufts taking a quick stroll past the UW spawn on their way to the point, as this might be the final map of the series, or final flashpoint even. Genji goes right in, pops the deflect, and Odin gets very, very low, but does not end up falling. It's actually the Juno that ends up falling first, with the orbital ray invested by Volcarona, and that's both backliners once again down from the side for the side of UW. And this is going to be Tufts taking early control of this point once again.
Which has been a trend for the entire game, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like UW really just hasn't been able to find their footing in a lot of these fights. Hasn't really been able to find those early picks. I think it's usually just somebody gets dropped right off the bat from Tufts, and I think that's been something that they've been really, really good at. Is focusing their fire to get one of these kills really early. A bit more neutral gaming. The Kitsune Rush does get popped for UW, but it's so far not getting too much value, kind of just a bit more poke happening slightly faster than it used to. The Pulse Bomb does not find anyone, and the Rampage gets popped, and it hits onto 4, and the Suzu just hits onto Shamrock, so it's actually looking like it's going to be UW taking control of this fight, as the Juno does end up going down eventually, and that's going to be a pretty clean team kill. But the important thing to note is that Jymthegreat is almost towards that Dragon Blade once again, and UW doesn't really have any tools to mitigate it. So it's really going to be all eyes on Jym to see if they can find a pick, make a big play with that Dragon Blade, which they do finally have now. They drop very, very low, but the commanding shout ends up keeping them alive, and this is looking like it's going to be a decisive moment for this game.
At this point, every single moment is decisive, especially for UW, as every single mistake that they do now can pay them off and give Tufts a beat.
And that's going to be the mistake that they needed, as Jymthegreat does end up going down without actually being able to pop the ultimate. But it's now both supports and the Venture down for the side of UW, and that's just going to be the game. It does look like, because 67% on these flashpoints is already a ton of capture percentage, and it's going to be hard for UW to get back to this in order to make a good contest. Because these flashpoints just tick up so fast.
They might use the Tracer here just to contest initially and try forcing one more fight, but this is looking extremely glim for the side of UW.
Yeah, I mean it's 3 ultimates on the side of Tufts. The Dragon Blade does end up getting popped as
that's stuck.
Yeah, I mean the Pulse Bomb gets the Genji, but the Rampage hits onto enough members. All 3 surviving members get hit by the Rampage. And that's all they're going to need, really. That's going to be the end of the game, it looks like. The overtime finally takes down, and that is a clean 3-0 sweep with our first 3 Overwatch of the year in favor of Tufts.
3 Overwatch in 40 minutes. I have it right here. I have OBS on. The game says 40 minutes. The stream says it's been on for 40 minutes. Basically, it's been less than 40 minutes.
Very, very fast game.
Alright, should we try bringing somebody here? Because
Yeah, that would be great.
otherwise there'll be no juice for this stream. I need something else. It took no time for this game to finish, and I want to clock up some more time before I close it off completely.
Sounds
So
like a plan.
let me just answer it because they were helping me here in chat, telling me if something was going on or not. Uh, Shout out to Magpie. Are they not in this? Are they not on? Wait, I need to. Oh wait, it's because they're not in this chat. Huh. Good job, me. Currently asking if we can interview Jymthegreat.
Yeah, that would be great.
Request has been asked for. Request has been sent. We shall receive a response soon. So stay just for a little while longer. While I just close this.
Oh.
There you
Oh,
go.
okay.
Hello.
Hello, thank you for joining us on the broadcast. How was your first game for the Overwatch Blue team?
My first game was super exciting. I was really happy to finally be part of a team and play a game that I enjoyed. I thought it went really well. Playing with my teammates was super fun. I really enjoyed myself.
That's great to hear. Thank you, by the way, for letting us interview you. And
Yeah, of
I
course.
said the initial question, so I'll send it to you, Rose, to see, ask about the game and, whatever you want to
Yeah,
ask.
sounds good.
Yeah. I mean, definitely a very good start to the year. How are you looking forward to the rest of the season so far? And how are you feeling confidence-wise, for how things are gonna go?
I think things will go great. I think my team is like I was still super impressed. I knew they were all like really really good, but I was still super impressed with how they performed. Um, I think we're gonna do really really well this season. I'm feeling pretty confident. Although I will say I think you can't. There's no such thing as being too good at something, and I'm coming back after I'm coming back after a little break from playing Overwatch, and I hope to get in some VOD reviews and sort of hone my gameplay before the majority of the season starts.
Yeah, absolutely. And so far, you've looked really good.
Thank you.
Um, how has it been with the rest of this team coming in as this new member, right? Everybody else on the team has played before, and
Yeah.
so far you guys look super coordinated, right? How has that been, right? Just meshing with the team, in terms of like, coordination and everything.
Well, I mean, I've never played in a team environment before, so I didn't really know what to expect when I was coming into this because this sort of team play is very different from the ranked ladder in the sense of coordination. So I think first of all, I sort of listened to the comms that were being said, and obviously they were really good comms. They worked out. Uh, and I guess I think it's a matter of time really. They all seem to really coordinate with each other well, and I think eventually I'll sort of integrate in with the group. Um, Coming in, I was obviously really nervous about how I would perform in a team environment, and they've just all been super super welcoming to me, and it's really made me so happy and confident about my future with the team. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, I think it's just good to hear that the team is coming along well so far, and obviously this is a great start to the first game of the year.
Of course, thank you.
That being said,
Uh,
any more questions?
no, I think that's basically all
Yeah.
I really wanted to ask. You guys look fantastic.
Thank
You guys were killing it out there. The Genji looked good.
Thank you, thank you. It's a little bit washed, pulling it out again after quite some time, but I hope I can make it pretty spot on.
Yeah, absolutely.
That being said, thank you so much for joining us, Jim the Great. We don't want to, hold you out here for too long. So thank you so much for letting us talk to you, and good luck for the rest of your season.
Hey, thank you so much. Have a good night, everyone. Take care.
With that being
Yeah,
said,
thank you.
yep, we're gonna move on. And we're gonna close the stream for tonight. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. I know it was extremely quick. The stream has only gone for 47 minutes, with game time around probably 30 minutes. But this is the first game of many games, especially on Overwatch. This is the third game, the third team that is opening their season, so very excited for what's to come. We're still in late September. There's still so many months left before the end of the season, so stick around, follow all of our announcements as more games will come. I'm very excited for what the Overwatch Blue team can do this season. I also want to thank Rose for some great casting, because especially it was just you by yourself today, and I was trying to support you, but also so did camera work. So really great job. Thank you so much. And with all the thanks being said, I wish good luck on UW in the rest of their season. I am very excited to see what the blue team can do, and we'll see you here next time. Have a great night, and I peace out.